In this video, I'll be taking you behind the scenes on what it takes to plan and execute an impactful styled shoot so you can book gorgeous weddings without years of experience. Now, a quick caveat, nothing replaces experience. We would still highly recommend gaining a lot of experience photographing weddings before you book high stakes luxury weddings. But there are ways you can start working with your ideal client sooner and photographing weddings that align perfectly with your unique style before spending years working your way up to that. If you're brand new to wedding photography, we highly recommend you check out our video where we outline how to get your first wedding photography booking. We'll leave a link to it in the description. That video is packed full of tips to get you started as a wedding photographer. This video outlines phase 2, where you hone in on your ideal client and start marketing directly to them through intentional imagery that you create through a wedding styled photo shoot. So let's dive in. First things first, we need to work out who your ideal client is. Who are the people you want to serve? Who is your photography for? Tell me about them. Are they really laid back and low key, planning a backyard wedding with lots of DIY elements? Maybe they're edgy and alternate, wanting something that bucks tradition and pushes the boundaries of what a wedding looks like. Or maybe they're really trendy and fashion forward, wanting editorial imagery and European summer styling. Whatever it is, write it down and get a really clear picture of the people that you want to serve. Now in this step, it's tempting to do whatever is trending right now, whatever you're seeing plastered all over Instagram. And while there's nothing wrong with drawing your inspiration from this, what may serve you better is zooming out just a little bit and thinking about the couples you can uniquely serve and who will be drawn to what you do. That may sound a little vague, so let me explain a bit more. If you can spend some time really thinking about who you want to connect with, what their values are, and who you want to be photographing over and over, this is going to serve you and your business better in the long run. Take into consideration your strengths and what inspires you. Think about your business overall and the brand that you want to build long term. You don't need to have it all figured out, as your business will continue to evolve over time. But taking some time to think about this will give you more clarity when it comes to planning a photo shoot. At this point, it's also a good idea to consider if there is a blog or magazine you would like to submit the shoot to. Think about where your ideal client is finding inspiration for their wedding. What are the blogs, magazines, Instagram accounts they're following? And what is the type of imagery that these businesses are sharing? Are there any clear themes, values, or topics? And how can you make sure that what you create fits these? This will give you a greater chance of having your shoot featured on their channels and your work being shown to their audiences. There's so much more to talk about on this subject, but for now, let's move on to actually planning a wedding-styled shoot. Something I'm constantly doing is saving what inspires me. I've got a Pinterest board, saved folders on Instagram, and physical print media that I've kept in a box. So when I'm ready to plan a shoot, I can pull from these and start sifting through ideas and clarifying a vision. Once I have some idea of the direction I want to head in, I will pull all the relevant imagery together in one place, usually a folder on my computer, ready to create a mood board. You can create a mood board in Canva, or I love to use a platform called Milanote, which is what I'm going to show you now. Okay, so let me take you through the mood board I created for a recent shoot we did that we're going to take you behind the scenes on. So firstly, I'll zoom in a little bit so we can go through each section. So starting with the ceremony. So you can see the inspiration we were going for was really soft, romantic. We were thinking about playing with fabric. Really wanted an asymmetrical look, so Maddie wanted to create some asymmetrical florals, whether that was all florals or using these pillars to kind of get some different heights. So yeah, that was sort of the vision there. We've also got a reference image of the ceremony location at Gavin Bar, the venue we were working with, and that was the location we wanted to set up in for this look, so we could see that there. Then if we go down to the floral concept here, you can see we've got a reference image for the bouquet. Some of the colouring is what we were going for. So the concept being pastel, asymmetrical, cascading, soft, romantic, and yeah, just reinforcing this sort of dainty, sort of spring, whimsical style that is really such a part of Maddie Jade Floral Designs aesthetic. Working with Maddie, she could also let me know what blooms she thought might be available from the flower market. She was hoping for some daffodils, poppies, ranunculi, and just some foliage to kind of just help build that sort of asymmetrical arbor that she wanted to create. Then if we move over here to the reception, so we'll start over here on the left. These are the two styles of arranging that Maddie had in mind, and also kind of the type of vessels or vases she was thinking of bringing. You can see in the center we've got an overall vision. It's going to be a table setting for 6. Relaxed evening, dining outside. We wanted texture with the fabric, gold cutlery, white dinner candles, dainty glassware, and maybe some fruit segments. So if you look through all this imagery, there's a lot of texture with the tablecloths. We were considering using some candles that we would pre-burn so they were already dripped. This image is posing inspiration for photographing the table setting and our couple. And then here is actually the napkins that Maddie had that we were going to use as well. Then if we move across to the tableware, you can see the actual pieces that we were hiring from Table for Louis. So we needed a set of 6. And yeah, this is the crockery, the glassware, and the cutlery that we needed to pick up. Moving across again, we've got our gorgeous models, Savannah and Max, and then some posing inspiration. So you can see it's really soft, gentle, romantic, and yeah, just trying to help convey that overall feeling of what we were going for. This is really helpful for our models, really everyone involved, just to see some of the imagery that we as the photographers had in mind and were hoping to create. If we just move up quickly, we can see the gowns that we were going to be using from Bo and Luca. And these were actually all the pieces that we got to use, which was wonderful. Moving up a little bit more, you can see the stationery inspiration. Alyssa, our stationery designer, actually sent us this reference. That was what she was kind of going off. Worked really well, so I could add that to the mood board. We've got some cake ideas over here, so we could send that to Creambull. And then just right here, an extra idea was to possibly put some flowers in the fountain at Gavin Bar. And then here is a reference image of the library also at Gavin Bar. And so that is the whole mood board. Really helpful just to visually convey the ideas and the vision to help make sure everyone is on the same page. The next step is to assemble your team. The way we like to approach this is by first connecting with another vendor who we have an existing connection with, and who will have a big impact on the overall aesthetic and visuals for what we are trying to achieve. This could be a stylist or a florist, maybe a dress designer or a venue manager. This is the time where it's really helpful to make friends early in your wedding photography journey. We talk about this in the video we mentioned previously, so we won't go into it too much. But if you are completely brand new, we recommend giving yourself every opportunity to connect with others in the industry. Jump into Facebook groups, connect with others on Instagram, and wherever you can, meet with others in person. Invite them for a coffee, offer to shoot their venue, blooms, styling, whatever they do for free, and start building those relationships. You can of course cold pitch your idea to anyone you want to work with, but we have found it's easier to get a yes if you already have an existing relationship. So once you have a key vendor you want to work with, reach out to them, send them your mood board, and outline your vision. If they say no, that's okay. You can ask another vendor. If you get a yes, amazing. Move on to the next step. Now you have someone you can bounce ideas off and a whole other network you potentially have access to. Together you can share a responsibility and start reaching out to the rest of your dream team of vendors. We would recommend locking in a venue or location as your next priority, then finding all the other vendors you need to pull your vision together. Now usually at this point we get a lot of questions around how does a style shoot work? Does anyone get paid? Who covers what costs? Does everyone work for free? And the answer to these are that it varies. We have worked on styled shoots where no one gets paid. Everyone is volunteering their time, talent, or resources in exchange for imagery they can use to market what they do. And we've also worked on shoots where we've paid for models, or we've contributed to the florals budget, or paid for hair and makeup. It really depends on the vision, who's involved, and what others are willing to give. The best way to approach this is with open communication. Talk through expectations and what's involved, and make sure everyone you work with is on the same page. We would always recommend having a model release form, so whoever is featured in the imagery you create is happy for those images to be used as marketing material for all the businesses involved. You can get one of these from your local contract lawyer or find a legitimate template online. You could also consider having an agreement for all the vendors involved in the shoot to make sure terms and conditions are super clear. Okay, on to the next step. Now you have a team assembled, it's important to make a clear plan. I'll show you how I do this using Millernote. Okay, so let me take you through the plan for the shoot. So this is actually just based off a template that was already in Millernote. It really helps organize all the key information. Just is really helpful when you've got a lot of people involved. They can all sort of check this as their reference. It has everything they need to know and just visually help us all get on the same page. So over here on the left on this first card, we've got about the project. So it's a wedding style shoot, soft, romantic, whimsical garden wedding inspiration set at the historic Gavin Bar homestead. Underneath, we've got our key key contacts. And then beneath that, we've got our full team list with everyone's Instagram handles. Then moving into the center, we've got our inspiration, which actually holds our mood board. So if we double click that, we can see everything inside this, which is super helpful. Again, just making sure everyone's on the same page. They can reference this in the lead up so that they know the vision that we're trying to create together. Then beneath that, again, we've got a little bit more about the vision, which was, I think, mostly written by Maddie, our florist, and she's got a neutral backdrop set amongst the leafy greens of Gabonbar's beautiful gardens, creamy drapery cascading over a tablescape, and asymmetrically designed florals creating depth and texture. Soft pastel florals highlighting what the season has to offer. Dainty, soft, and romantic. Moving over to the right, we've got this third board, the shoot, and this is basically just the plan for the day, some more key information and the schedule. So time and date, the location with the address, we've got sunset time, and then just the schedule. So when we're arriving, when hair and makeup is starting, making sure we've allocated enough time for that, when we're all setting up, and then what time we're hoping to start shooting, so this 1 o'clock time, and what we'll be shooting at that time. Then our couple will be getting dressed around 1:45, so we can start photographing them with the setups. And you can see we've just really outlined what we're going to be shooting when, so that we can work methodically, make sure we capture everything as efficiently as we can, all the way through till 6 p.m. when we leave. There's also a shot list, which is great if you want to be super detailed. We were just happy to kind of go with the flow based off the timings we had outlined in this schedule. And beneath that is a gear list, which is also super helpful for us to just be able to write a list of everything we want to bring to the shoot as we're traveling. You know, we don't want to forget anything, and we could tick things off when we were packing the car, which was great. So that's the plan. Nice, neat, easy to follow and understand, and just really great to be able to send out to our team and make sure everyone knows where they need to be and when, reiterate that vision really clearly, and just help us all work together as a team. Once you have a clear plan, you can send a group email to everyone involved. Send this with enough time before the scheduled shoot for questions or feedback and time to clarify or pivot, just in case you need to do any problem solving if timings or an idea needs some more work. I like to send another email a day or two out from the shoot with all the key information again, like the address and contact information, just a final reminder of the shoot with the outline plan. Now it's shoot day. Yay! Make sure you are well rested, your gear is organised the day before, and you have set your alarm with plenty of time to get ready and arrive early, especially if you are the key contact person. Make sure you also have plenty of snacks and a water bottle for yourself, and if you're the chief organiser, it's nice to organise snacks and water for everyone involved too. Cool, so let's take you behind the scenes on our romantic garden editorial. We arrived at the beautiful Gabonbar homestead in Toowoomba around 11 a.m. It was absolutely freezing. It turned out to be the coldest day in July, with a top of 8 degrees Celsius and a low just above freezing. Our wonderful florist Maddie was already at work creating an asymmetrical floral arbor for our ceremony setup. And once we unloaded all our gear, we checked in with everyone, including Eloise from Elle Events Co, who was helping us coordinate everything. We had Elise Ann Hair and Taylor K Makeup looking after our model Savannah and her husband Max. We had picked up our beautiful bridal pieces from Bo and Luca the day before, and we collected our very fun and whimsical cake by Kremble on the way. By Esther Rose on stationery, and the Love Lens Studio on content creation. All our crockery, cutlery and glassware was from Table for Louis, and candle holders from Orphic Arcane. And finally, the furniture was all supplied by our lovely venue, Gabonbar. From bump in at 11, we had allocated around 2 hours to set up our ceremony and reception table. And while Maddie took care of blooms and vases for the table setting, I worked with Eloise and our stationery designer Alyssa to set up and style. Just after 1 p.m, we were ready to start shooting, starting with a flat lay of the invitation suite. Before moving outside to photograph the garden ceremony and dainty tablescape. When it comes to styled shoots, we love to work as methodically as we can to ensure we thoroughly capture every element that has been contributed. It's extremely important that everyone's efforts or resources are well presented in the final gallery, so they have plenty of imagery to market their business. This makes sure it's well worth them being involved. I was shooting everything digitally and Trent was working with film, shooting 35mm on his Nikon FE and 120 on his Yashica TLR. He shot 2 rolls of Kodak Portra in 35mm and a roll of Kodak Gold 200 and Portra 400 in 120. By 2 p.m, our models were ready. As we mentioned, it was absolutely freezing, but we tried to keep Savannah and Max as warm as possible in between shots. The really fun thing about styled shoots is that it's all hands on deck, everyone collaborating and working together to make sure the vision is realised. It's definitely one of our favourite parts, getting to work with such an awesome team. We started with our ceremony setup, capturing a mix of wide, mid, tight and detail shots, changing up the orientation between vertical and horizontal. Always thinking about getting good coverage and variety so images can be used across multiple channels. Once we were happy with the ceremony setup, we moved to our reception setting and tried variations of sitting and standing.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Almost like this, and kind of cross your legs. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, just hold that, you guys.
We also played with a little bit of slow shutter.
Yeah, gorgeous. Perfect, perfect. That's so gorgeous.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Then it was time for a dress change. Trent wanted to experiment with some flash setups in the library space. He shot some digitals to check how it looked, then switched back to film.
Just like, almost maybe like have one hand on your shoulder, maybe Max if you're looking at the...
When Trent was happy, I played with some softer, slightly slow shutter imagery of Savannah and Max. First in the library, then in a second room across the hall. After this, we moved into the ballroom, where I wanted to draw inspiration from an image I had found. I just loved the pose and feeling. I shared the reference image with Savannah and Max and made sure they felt comfy and could make the pose their own. At this point, we were feeling pretty warmed up, both physically with the heating inside and creatively, so we used this beautiful space to try a few more ideas. We headed outside for our last few shots. Trent captured some on the veranda with film, before setting up a shot on the garden wall with the homestead in the background. These are some of my favourites. It's always the way that the best are towards the end, when we're all warmed up and our models are extra relaxed. Max and Savannah were just a dream to photograph the whole time, making our job very easy. and a handful of last shots near the fountain to close out the day. Once all the photos were taken, we went straight into pack-down mode, which we clearly didn't film. At this point, we'd used all our energy and were purely focused on getting everything packed up so everyone could go home. We were really happy with how everything turned out on shoot day. We had such a wonderful team and the vision really came together. The following day, we downloaded everything, backed it up, edited a handful of previews, and sent them out to everyone to share on social media. We really wanted to encourage sharing both the previews and any behind-the-scenes content captured, and ask everyone to tag all involved, as this helps increase everyone's brand awareness, and it works best while everyone is excited to see how it all turned out. When we sent off the previews, we thanked everyone, gave an estimate of when they could expect the full gallery by, and listed everyone's social media handles, making it really easy for everyone to copy and paste that list into captions on Instagram and make sure everyone was credited. To see our full workflow from here, including editing, delivery, and backing up, you can check out our full shoot to backup video next. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit subscribe and we'll see you in the next one.